Okay guys, welcome back to another story that has been submitted. This one is about a foreigner in a relationship with a Thai freelancer that he met in Phuket. It's a bit of a rollercoaster journey, so let's not waste any more time and jump into this story. I came across your channel whilst during a long distance issue with my potential Thai partner. I say potential because you'll learn why in the story. But listening to this channel has made me feel less alone in my experience, and I felt obligated to share what has happened so that maybe others would not make the same mistakes I have. I am in my late 20s and was brand new to the scene. I had never travelled outside of the US and I wanted to get away from the life that I knew. I chose Thailand because it was on the complete opposite side of the world. This was my first time in Thailand, of course, and it took place at the beginning of April 2024. I only watched videos on YouTube about the culture, activities, and of course the nightlife, but I had no real idea what I was walking into. Furthermore, I didn't realise the hotel I chose was at the very end of the go-go bar strip at the side of Bangla Road. I never thought it could be what I experienced. Women grabbing at me and offering themselves to me every 5 steps that I took. A bit of background about me. I have had decent luck with women in the US, and I have always had long-term relationships. I went to Thailand to find a wife, not knowing what the stark reality is. I had only planned to be there for a month, enjoy Songkran and do a lot of travelling. But the nightlife, cheap alcohol and the endless options of women sucked me in fast. Anyway, to the story. I was so jet-lagged, sleep-deprived from excitement and drank so much that I had to have the driver pull over so I could throw up in a bag. I got to the hotel about 1 p.m. and immediately crashed. I woke up at 10 p.m. and walked out of the hotel. I lit up a cigarette and walked towards the noise and the lights in front of my hotel. I was attacked by women constantly and tried to find something to do to fill the awkwardness, like buy things out of 7-Eleven and talk to the sign holders and other foreigners that were walking around the area. I continued walking around until almost 3 a.m, trying to work up the nerve to take a girl. I have never been with a freelancer in my life, so I was looking for a girl who liked me for me. Of course, there was nothing like that there, and instead, I was working up the nerve to pay. Talking to different women, I began to get a feel for the price and expectations. I eventually gave up and decided to walk back to my hotel. As I walked onto the street that my hotel is on, a hand grabbed mine. I turned and a cute girl asked me where I was going. I told her my hotel, and she asked to come with me. We negotiated a price of 3,000 baht, then off we went, and you can use your imagination for the rest. I found out that night that this girl was 41, although, amazingly, she looked 31. I found out she was from Isan and her nickname was Nanny. She introduced me to her friends and family. I experienced new food and I spent Songkran with her and her friends. On the night of Songkran, I spent the whole day drinking. The night ended with me feeling drunk and just wanted to crash. I maybe got 5 hours of sleep. The next day is a blur. I can't tell you much from there other than stuffing my face with Thai food and desserts and seeing Patong beach. The next main event that took place was when I realised that I needed to move into some sort of secure housing arrangement, as my plan was to work remotely. I took a look at 2 condos that were both 35,000 baht per month. They were pretty small compared to what I was used to and a little bit outside of Patong. The availability of places was very slim because it was high season, which meant that everything was already taken. The girl I was seeing said she found someone on Facebook with a townhouse for rent that was 35,000 baht. It was substantially more significant than the other places I looked at for the same price as the condos. So in my mind, I had found a winner. Little did I know the nightmare that was about to happen. Through one means or another, I got rid of the 41-year-old, which I figured out obviously there was no future with. And this is where the story really takes an interesting turn. I became a butterfly at this point, the term you are all familiar with, which means a player. My intentions in coming to Thailand were to find a wife, but the level of deceit I was met with made it difficult on top of my already severe distrust for women in general. The Thai party life really added complications to that factor. Anyway, I tried talking seriously with 1 or 2 more girls from Thai Friendly. They didn't work out for one reason or other after the first time that I met them. I was playing the lover game and figuring out how to trick the working women out of paying them by telling them what they wanted to hear. I was damn good at it too. However, being tattooed with blue eyes and having a townhouse in a 6-mile-long beach town really helped the situation. But I found myself at one point feeling exhausted of having to keep up a love facade and gave in to the idea of paying because it seemed reasonable to the extent that we both got what we wanted, there were no questions asked, and we would both move on from it. Little did I know what was about to happen. I went back through my messages to a girl I had seen previously who was 21 and was very, very beautiful. I knew if I was going to pay, it might as well be with her. She went by Noon. I won't give her real name out of respect for her, but I will say she had the prettiest Thai name I had heard this far. As you know, most of them sound objectively not very cute. The first night with her was much, much more than we both expected. I think that her age and the things I possessed, plus what I was able to do for her physically, created this connection for her that was built off the wrong things. We both have a mean look on our face, love to eat, and can handle our alcohol very well, so getting along at first was very easy. She never asked me for money again, which struck me as interesting. I told her that I came to Thailand looking for a wife, and I think she just thought I was being cute. But as we spent more time together, she realized that I was being serious. I talked to her about the future and what she wants out of life, and found myself trying to teach her about equality. For example, I cooked dinner for us that night, and when I went to wash the dishes, she yelled at me, "What are you doing? That's my job." I will admit, I was really taken back by this and tried to explain to her that if she wasn't here, that I would have to clean the dishes anyway. She told me she had never seen her father clean dishes her entire life. I appreciated her dedication to the roles, but I also think there are some basic things that men and women share duties on because we both make a mess. Some interesting side notes here. We broke up 4 or 5 times over a period of 2 months, but always got back together within days of ending things. We seemed to have this connection, and we couldn't get rid of each other. We both admitted that it was effortless to block other people, but for some reason, with each other, we were hooked. We decided to commit fully, and I had her stay with me every day. I admit, I would tell her at first that I had to work online and ask her to leave because I couldn't have her in the house making a noise while I was working through video call, and that she would be bored sitting there for 8 hours while I was working. But the truth is, I wasn't working. I was out drinking with other women and bringing them back, continuing the same pattern of lover talk that got me the girls for free. I was soothing my soul like a hurt dog licking a wound. That kind of behaviour ended, and I asked her to stay with me every day, no matter what, and we wouldn't leave each other's side. To continue the story, I was on borrowed time because I knew that I could only stay for 6 months. I asked her to be with me every day. She was a freelancer originally, so there were no bar fines or worrying about her job. She never asked me to pay for her room or buy her anything, but I knew in the back of my mind she had to be paying for her room with her saved up money. Anyway, we continued our fun and spent every day together, and she rarely left my side for even 2 minutes. It was working out what I thought was in the best way possible. We enjoyed sushi, spending personal time together at the house, watching movies, the beach, and drinking and clubbing. She got me free bottles and a complimentary VIP section at the local clubs and showed me incredible places to eat. She was a very jealous type who left videos on my phone in case another girl went through my phone, saying she would go after them for talking to me. I actually found it cute, her being very possessive of me. We had some arguments that almost caused us to end things, but we always worked them out. We cooked together most days, but also enjoyed ordering food. I think she enjoyed that I did my own laundry, cleaned, cooked, and was financially stable for being in my 20s. We had some charming dates that were always full of laughter and smiling, and she was, in general, a very sweet person when she wasn't drunk. When she would drink without me, she would come back so drunk she could barely stand. I worried about her in that regard, because anyone could take advantage of her, but I couldn't force myself to go out and drink in that atmosphere on her behalf every single time. Sometimes I wanted downtime. It eventually came time for me to leave because my landlord had provided me with a faulty water pump, causing flooding of the back room, high water bills, attempted to charge me for house repairs, and my energy bill was 3 times higher than anything anyone had ever seen that I showed the bill to. He also had 70,000 baht deposit of mine that I paid through PayPal. I'm lucky. I was smart enough to do that because I was able to charge back my deposit through PayPal when he told me I would not be getting my deposit back. Another side note, for the first girl I mentioned, the one who is 41, the landlord told me he gave her 35,000 baht of the 70,000 as a commission fee. And when I talked to the girl, she said she only got 17,000 baht. All I know is someone is lying to me and I trust nobody, not even the girl I am with now. I decided to tell the landlord I would pay him at the end of the month because that is when I could get the money. However, I left the day before he was supposed to collect it. I blocked him, of course, and recovered my deposit. I was smart enough to put that 70,000 baht on a credit card so I could avoid using my own money. So even if PayPal failed to recover it, the bank would indeed dispute it with no problem, as it is their money that was spent. When I left for the airport, I shut off the power to the house to turn off the camera out front so the owner had no recording of me leaving. Also, the owner was only 30 years old. I found out from the neighbour across the street that he used to help him try to rent out the place, but he would not provide the proper TM30 forms, report to the tax office or immigration office. Your lease is supposed to be stamped. When you go to the immigration office, you will be filling out a TM30, but I noticed the guy gave me a TM7 when I went by last time. This told me he undoubtedly had not reported my stay to immigration, and if he was reporting to the tax office, he underreported to save tax. Back to the girl. Emotions were flying when I left. We were both crying a lot. I cried on the Grab ride to the airport and at various points on my 36-hour journey home. Just to make things clear, the entire time we were together, she never asked me for money except for the first night based on our agreement. By default, of course, I always paid for her when we went out. It just felt like the polite thing to do as a Westerner. We were video calling as much as we could every day, sometimes staying on the phone for hours without saying much. We purposely fell asleep while on video call and let each other sleep while we stayed right there. She promised me she would not return to her old job. She was feeling sick at the time and was trying to recover, so she didn't have the energy to go out to work. I was constantly talking to her about the importance of eating healthy, having a good schedule, drinking less, having a routine, and having a healthy job. I told her that I would cover any extra expenses not covered by her job. Long story short, she never got a good job because any time she found a listing, she would wait many days before inquiring about it and make excuses that she wanted her friend to go with her, but her friend was not available at the time. Knowing what she has done previously to make money, I was apprehensive that she would go back to her old way, but she told me she would keep looking for a job. I told her I didn't want her working and wanted her to go back to her family's village in the south of Thailand. I attempted to send money through Wise, but the app put the payment on hold and required me to verify some banking information. It showed me the money would be deposited in 3 days to her, so I sent her that screenshot saying it would come. I used those 3 days to monitor her behaviour and how she would act. I noticed she increased telling me how much she loved me and wanted to spend every waking moment on the phone with me. She then would tell me she was going to buy certain things for cooking, but I had sent her only enough for her to pay for the room that she was behind on and told her I would send more money after that to make sure she can eat. I just wanted to keep her out of the bar scene and away from freelancing to survive. She really didn't want to go home because she didn't want to be a burden on her family, even though I told her I would pay her way so she didn't have to worry about that. But the truth came out, she didn't want to go back because she would have to work very hard when she was there. This was another major red flag. Even as I am writing this, I don't understand how a girl would rather be freelancing than spend time with her family for a few months and get money for free, until I returned 4 or 5 months later to get her and move us both to Hua Hin. Well, the day before the money was supposed to arrive, she and I got into a big argument about her not making more of an effort to find a job, and we broke up. She kept saying, "Take your money back, I don't want it." I told her the money hadn't even been sent to her yet, so I didn't know why she kept saying that. She took that as I never sent it. The language barrier made it so she didn't fully understand, but the truth is, it technically wasn't sent until I released the funds. But she didn't know that. We worked things back out, and then I noticed on her Snapchat location that she was at a bar. So here is where things became difficult. She said nothing to me that night, and the next day she said she got a job at a bar and told me that's why she was at the bar and didn't answer my calls. I asked her if the bar was a regular bar or where she could be bar fined, and she told me that there were no bar fines. Fast forward a few days, and she drunkenly tells me she got a guy to bar fine her so she could go home and sleep. The story was not consistent, and red flags flew across my face. I reluctantly tried to trust her, although I never did at all, for good reason too. Eventually, I asked her to please tell me the truth and that I would not be mad. My gut feeling was screaming at me. What has she been doing to make money? Has she been up to something to make some more money? She said she had gone with 2 customers and proceeded to tell me it was because I didn't send money to her and it was my fault for making her believe she was going to receive money. The thing that baffles me about these women is they don't take accountability and they don't listen very well. Granted, Western women are the same, so I don't know why I'm surprised. Even as I'm writing this, she has ignored my calls and texts entirely at this point, but still doesn't want to block me. I have no idea what she is doing, and it worries me because she has had an instance where a customer hit her in the face a few times. I don't know why, but I still care about her safety and well-being. A few days ago, writing this, she said, "You should find a woman who is better than me. I am no good." I tried expressing to her that she is a good person who is making bad choices. I used to make choices that I cannot put into writing for legal reasons, but I have changed my ways. Mostly anyway. She had video called me, crying her eyes out in the bathroom at the bar that she works. I admit, I was surprised, but after some talking, we decided to give things another go. She told me her aunt, who does property management, had gotten her a job doing the same thing with a company and that she would be able to start soon. She even sent me a screenshot showing the messages between her and her employer. She informed me that she had to go back to her hometown for her deceased younger brother's ceremony that they do annually. We video called almost constantly, and during her brother's ceremony, she video called me throughout it all. She saw that I was praying with them when it was time for the prayers. I could tell this really made her happy because she started showing her family and they were all very happy with me for doing so. She thanked me a lot for it, and I will admit that I was a bit emotional towards her situation because I can't imagine what her and her family were feeling on this day. I had no intention of doing this to look good or show face, but it was truly out of the kindness of my heart. We continued video calling almost constantly. And this is where everything takes another turn. Before she got on a plane back to Phuket, she had asked me if I could help her with rent because she didn't have the money to pay for the room. I reluctantly sent her a quarter of the rent cost at first, just as a test payment. Needless to say, I did not hear from her after her 1-hour flight for almost 10 to 12 hours. She told me she was sleeping and now is going to eat with her friends. Then she told me she is at her aunt's house and asked if it would be okay to go drinking with her aunt, which I said yes. She sent me a picture and a video and called me once while she was out. She told me she would be going back to her room in 1 hour and said that if she did not call me, that I should not worry because she is sleeping. Obviously, I found this behaviour very strange. Well, I didn't hear back from her until about 11:20 in the morning. She always calls me, but now she was not saying anything and sent me a quick video of her getting street food. At this point, it was about 3:30 p.m. when she messaged me saying she was still sleeping. Fast forward to 8:30 p.m, she sent me a video of her at her aunt's house that was dimly lit and looked like she was sitting on the floor near the sliding glass door. This seemed strange and out of place. I had been messaging her in between all of these times, asking her to please call me, but she never did. So from the point of 8:30 p.m, I never got a message back till about 5 p.m. the next day, where she said, "I feel like I'm in a prison," and that's why she went out to party and didn't want to tell me because she knew I would not want her to go out. She said that she goes on trips but does not go astray. I told her that I am done with her behaviour. You have lied to me, you have cheated on me, you gamble, you drink, you never wake up at a normal time, and you don't have the ability to work a normal job. I told her I am back paying the money and it will be taken from her bank account. It was only 3,300 baht, but I'm not letting any of these trash people keep a dime of my money. I said some other choice words to her that were me venting my frustration. I noticed she still has not blocked me, so somehow, in her mind, I know she thinks this means we are not done yet. At this point, I am expecting an apology in the future, but she doesn't understand that I am completely done with her. It's sad, because she said to me, "You are the only man I have ever seen that loves me more and more every day. The rest of the men told me that they loved me and then disappeared." I was reluctant to be vulnerable with someone and love again in the beginning, which is why I was being a butterfly. I decided that I wanted to give it a chance. This experience was good for me, even though I was heartbroken a little. It was a good reminder to stand on my own 2 feet as a man emotionally and not let someone take advantage of you. If a relationship does not have trust, transparency, consistency, and you feel like you were constantly stressing, that means it's time to leave, boys. You can walk away from someone you love if they are not treating you with kindness and the same love back. I have no idea what will happen next, and I know the comments will say all different things. The truth is, I'm the kind of person who will do what I want regardless of what other people say. But I do appreciate the comments, and I will read all of them. Frankly, I am about to hire a lawyer to check if there are any pending legal charges for me in Thailand, because I do not know whether the landlord had reported me or what could come of that. So for my first time out of the country, there is a possibility that I may not even be able to return. But I am hoping I will be able to. If not, I'm going to Vietnam in January and trying this again. Now a few days later, as I am writing this towards the end, she messaged me back. But I am going to end the story here because it looks like there may be a part 2 if I decide to pursue the situation. I am young enough to travel and be heartbroken, so no real loss to me, as this is one big adventure. I look forward to updating you all in the future, for better or for worse. I am not going to say that this girl is different or the same, because there have been things that tell me both are true. I have left out a lot of personal conversation details that I don't believe really matter, as the actions tell the true story more than words spoken. On another note, I suggest to others, do not sign a lease unless you are dead set on where you are staying and have vetted the situation better than I did. And always make sure you use the safe in your room to avoid mistakes. Here is a bit of advice given to me by the girls themselves. Do not trust women from Isan. According to them, the women are not genuine people with their actions and words. Thank you for listening to my story. Good luck to all of you. Talk soon.